Today on Your Private Island, we'll journey to an adventure seeker's paradise off the coast of one of the most isolated countries in the world, New Zealand. Explore one of the last great frontiers on this solitary 2,000-acre island known as Forsyth. Discover this hiker's heaven with an Arizona couple and their 3 children. Experience nature's nirvana, surrounded by the pristine beauty of New Zealand on Your Private Island.
New Zealand is just, it's like a fantasy to go all the way to the other side of the world.
It has an exotic reputation in the United States, I think, among most people, that it's a place where it's, great weather, wonderful scenery.
The 7,000-mile trip to Forsyth Island from their home in Phoenix, Arizona, took them across the international date line to Auckland on New Zealand's North Island. They then took an hour's flight to Wellington, the country's capital. There are only 3.8 million people in all of New Zealand, and 2/3 of them live in these 2 cities. A layover in one is a great beginning before continuing the journey to the island.
Wellington's a beautiful city. It's got a beautiful harbor. We toured a wonderful museum at the harbor.
It was very kid-friendly. You didn't have to worry about the kids wrecking anything.
Greetings, welcome to the museum, welcome to the meeting house. This meeting house is an ancestral meeting house of different Maori people that live within New Zealand. Native people of this country, they have their own carvings, their own weavings.
We took a real neat ride on a cable car that left from really the heart of Wellington, and once we got to the top there was just a great view of the bay, and the kids really enjoyed that. They got to go out on the deck and look around. After spending a couple days in Wellington,
What kind of pizza are you getting?
we took a 20-minute plane flight from Wellington to Blenheim, and then we took a water taxi to Forsyth Island.
Hey,
Come on, guys.
Getting to the harbor to get on the boat, the kids had been talking about it for hours before we even got there. They were so excited to be taking a boat to the island.
Forsyth Island is at the northern end of the South Island of New Zealand. It is in the Marlborough Sounds, a spectacular sight. It's where movement in the earth has created mountainous islands rising above the water, resulting in hidden coves and secluded bays.
Approaching the island, we were so excited. We kept looking around saying, which island's ours? Where is it? We couldn't wait to see it. And when the captain pointed out where the island was, guys, there's the island we're staying at. I can see it. The kids were so excited. They said, is that our island? And so that was really fun that they kind of think of it as their own little getaway, and it's nobody else's but ours for the time we're there.
The only other people on the island are Jan and Peter Hood, the caretakers, who arranged for a granny nanny to help out with the Felix's toddler.
Hi, folks. Welcome
John.
to Forsyth. I'm Peter.
Hi, Peter.
Nice
Jan.
to meet you, Peter.
Yeah.
Our kids love everything around the coastal area, and so they immediately jump out and start looking for any kind of creepy, crawly critters.
We found some crabs.
Our boys really seem to love to find crabs, and even when they get pinched, they play on those rocks all day long if we let them.
Why you pinched me? One pinched me. It just got a hold of me really good.
When we first saw the lodge, it looked like a cabin up in the middle of the hill, away from everything else. We knew we were going to be all alone up there, and it was away from anything else, even from Jan and Peter's house. When we got up to the lodge, it was really nice because they had flowers, and there was a neat little fireplace in front of the couch, and the furniture was very comfortable. It was very comfortable for us because it had 3 bedrooms, and each bedroom had its own bathroom. All of the bedding was great. We had down comforters, and the beds are big and very comfortable, and they even have their own laundry room, so if you needed to do laundry, which having 3 kids, I had to do quite a bit. The kitchen was a full-service kitchen. It had everything that you could possibly want in it, and there's a loft upstairs, which the boys just love because it was kind of their own room. This is the New Zealand Seashore Secret Book.
Oh, Mom, that's one of our crabs that we found. Oh, we found that crab.
Okay, well, let's see what kind it is. Let's see the pictures right here.
It's just a beautiful building and incredible views. I mean, the first thing you do is you go outside on the veranda and you look out at the rocks and the reef, and it's worth the 12-hour plane ride.
All of our meals Jan has been making for us, which has been great, and we're kind of, you know, on our own for breakfast, which is nice because then we don't have to get up by a certain time. Who wants eggs? How many eggs should we make, John?
75 or 80.
One morning she gave us some sausage that they had made, some lamb sausage and wild boar sausage, which was really good, and we made eggs and had a big sit-down breakfast.
I think it's up to the traveler whether you want to prepare all your own meals. They have a grocery ferry that you call in what groceries you would like to have, and then they bring them later that day, deliver them right to the dock.
It's really important to me to plan vacations around my kids. I personally don't like traveling without my children.
Scotty's our oldest, he's 7, and he's full of life. Charlie is our middle child, he's 6, and he's the emotional boy.
You give Charlie love. Make him feel better.
Kendall's the baby doll, she's the little baby Heidi.
Yeah, I'm real excited about going to the very top of the mountain. Oh.
This is a hiker's paradise. You can hike all the way around the island, which is miles and miles.
Are we going to hike to the top of the mountain?
Yeah, sure.
We took a short hike to the top of the mountain. The trail just zigzags back and forth and got some incredible views of the reef and the island itself.
The boys really enjoyed that. They're really into hiking, and it was nice to have some alone time with them without, you know, other people around or TV or, you know, toys and things like that, and just be able to spend some quality time discovering different plants and rocks.
These aren't rocks.
Come on.
That's prehistoric mud.
My job of being a mom is so important to me because I think that children are definitely the most affected by their mother, and it's their good start in life. The most important thing I will ever do is to get these guys started on the right foot and get them to experience as much as possible and see what the world has to offer.
Heidi's such a great mom
Thank you for my beautiful flowers that you picked for me.
that it reminds me that it's important to be a great dad too. It's just great to get away and to be able to spend time with them before they get too big, because you realize each day and each year that goes by they're older, and you can't go back to those times when they were little.
You believe we're almost there? And we got to the top of the mountain, and it was just breathtaking scenery. You could see 360 degrees around. It was beautiful. It was a little drizzly when we got up to the top, and it just made everything more mystic looking and just very exciting. Okay, let's go this way. And nothing like we have experienced before. One of the things they do on this island is sheep farming, and the children were able to go and feed the sheep, and they have a little dog named Tessa. She's a Jack Russell Terrier, And they have taught her to herd the sheep, which she's done a great job at, and the kids just thought that was hilarious, that this little tiny dog was nipping at the heels of the sheep and getting them all organized and running them into different corrals, and that was very exciting for them.
You know, Peter showed us the shed where they bring the sheep in, shear all the wool off of them.
What's the sheep's name?
Lamb chop.
Lamb chop.
A couple of times we got a little bit of foul weather. We headed for the lodge. Got to spend some time with the boys, playing some cards. Too bad I don't know how to play, but he was schooling me in Go Fish, and got a little fire going, warmed up the lodge.
Sorry, Dad, but I just got a match. Try and stop me.
And I've decided that if you don't like the weather in New Zealand, just wait a few minutes. It'll change. I mean, right now it's beautiful and warm. One next minute at the top of the mountain, it's windy and cold, but the great thing is it doesn't stay that way for long.
The garden was neat for Kendall because she had never gone into a garden and picked her own vegetables before, so we took a little basket and walked down there together, and we collected up some lettuce and onions and things like that. So it was kind of her own little discovery of a 2-year-old to go down there and be able to see where vegetables come from and pick them for our dinner for that night.
That's lettuce.
That wasn't even a garden that they use. The caretakers have their own garden by their house. We wanted to experience the New Zealand cuisine, and it's been really good. We've had fresh fish that was caught that day. The boys went down and collected mussels for our dinner appetizers, which was so fun for them.
So maybe we should go sea kayaking tomorrow,
That sounds pretty fun.
or fishing.
Let's have a toast to hiking to the top of the mountain.
Cheers to the crabs.
Okay, cheers to the crabs.
Here's a page from our traveler's notebook. Forsyth Island is over 7,000 miles from Phoenix, Arizona, but it's well worth the journey. The best time to visit is between September and April, the spring, summer, and autumn months. The peak season is December through February, so advanced booking is a must. There are several ways to reach the island from the capital city of Wellington. A 3-hour ferry takes you across Cook Strait to the town of Picton, where you can take a 1-hour water taxi to the island. This is the most economical way to go. But if you're in a hurry, there are helicopter services in Wellington that will fly you there in just over a half hour. It's important to know that even in the New Zealand summer, the weather is unpredictable. It can be sunny and hot one day, and the next rainy and cold, so pack accordingly.
We decided that we wanted to take a short trip over to New Zealand's wine country.
Jan and Peter had a friend watch the children, so we actually got to go on our own. We went to a winery named Saracen, and it was just rolling hills, and it was covered in purple flowers and yellow flowers, and it was just very dreamy looking. And we were greeted by Brian, who ran the winery.
The industry is over 100 years old, but it's been in these last 30 years, or the last 20 years, that there's been a real strong focus on quality. It's a cool climate, Marlborough in particular, so we have a cool maximum temperature, and what that does is retain a lot of fruit character in the wines.
Are you known for a particular grape here more than others?
Sauvignon Blanc, and it's really the only one that's got to a stage where it would be considered on a par with the best old world producer. As you can see, these Sauvignon Blanc vines are in flower at the moment, and so you can see the small yellow flower in there. It's quite a nice smell too. It's a lemony sort of smell. Do you want to pop through and have a look at the winery?
Sure.
Great.
He took us inside the winery and showed us where the tanks are and the oak barrels.
For our Sauvignon Blanc, we use these stainless steel fermenters.
And gave us a taste of each of the wines that they are fermenting there. And he had a tube that he would just sort of suck some of the wine out of the barrel, and then he just would let it into your glass.
I thought the New Zealand wines were very refreshing. I really enjoyed tasting the different wines that they had. It was great for our family to be able to go to a private island like Forsyth because of having the 3 kids. It's really stressful being in a public place where there's lots of people. You're always having to keep track of the kids and worried about where they are or what they're doing. And you all have to be together to go do something. And on Forsyth, it's wonderful. The boys can run down to the beach and you don't have to worry if there's a stranger around or cars. It's a really safe environment and it's great for the children in a nature aspect, which is what we love in a vacation. It's what we look for. We decided we'd take the kayaks out for a little tour around in the ocean and got to enjoy the scenery from a kayak. Mom! Dad! Then we kayaked back in and the boys were running up and down the dock with their life jackets on because they wanted to go kayaking so bad. And so we came up to the dock and we picked them up and took them out for a little tour out in the water, and it was very exciting for them.
It was really fun, but I saw a shark. It was a baby great white. He jumped onto our kayak. He did.
They love to look over the edge thinking they're going to see, you know, shamu or some great white shark or something like that. So they love to get out there on the water.
We had Peter take us out on the boat to kind of tour the outside of the island so we could look in on the island.
He took us out near Duffer's Reef, which is out on the end of the island, and it's some craggly little rocks that are sticking out there.
Yeah, this is the outer end of Duffer's Reef that we're coming up to, and these are the king shags.
King shags?
Yeah. And there's only 5, I think there's 5 colonies of them in the Sounds here, and they're the only ones in the world.
Wow, yeah. These are the only ones like them in the world.
He gave us a tour of the mussel farms. You see a lot of those here with the floats and the ropes that are tied to them.
When there's not a lot of floats on it, it means that the mussels are not very big. They haven't grown very much yet. As the mussels get bigger and they get heavier, they add more floats on.
Okay, I think we should head in and go fishing.
Yeah.
You guys want to go fish off the dock?
Yeah.
Okay.
We did some fishing off of the dock. I couldn't believe the number of fish. I mean, it was just a question of how many times you wanted to throw the line out there. You basically could catch a fish on just about every cast.
Oh, we got a blue cod! We were pulling in some little fish here and there, some blue cod, which we kept a few of the larger ones so Jan and Peter could prepare them for dinner.
This is the one I caught. He has little tiny teeth. I got one! Woo! Scotty got another one!
Heidi loves the outdoors. You know, there aren't a lot of gals who cut and bait hooks and really enjoy it.
Oh! Whoa! These guys are roughhouse.
She's great with the kids. She gets them to do things that I don't know that I could get them to do.
Okay, Scott, here's yours.
Scotty was catching all kinds of stuff. He caught a huge barracuda. At least it seemed huge to me.
I think we caught a barracuda or something.
Once John got it out of the water and we saw what it was, we couldn't believe it.
And next thing I know, he's pulling something in, and I thought he had a tire or something because I was trying to reel it in. It really wasn't doing much, but it was obviously heavy. And as we got it closer to the surface, I realized it was an octopus, and it was a pretty good size one. And oh boy, was he excited.
Scotty was just beside himself. He was having so much fun, and we were trying to pull the octopus up on shore, and the hook came off and it swam away. So lucky for the octopus, it got to go home, and just couldn't believe that all of that was happening on this little Forsyth dock. It was just a great experience.
I caught octopus, big old catfish, let's see, barracuda, 2 blue cods, and 3 plain old cods.
A private island is different from anything else. It's just the quiet, the solitude. You don't think about your regular existence back home when you're out here. It just clears your head and allows you to just enjoy your family and spend some great time together.
We will be talking about this trip for the rest of our lives. We've experienced so many things that we don't normally experience. It's been a great bonding time for John and the boys, and it's just been great for me to show Kendall all the things that she's never seen before. The memories from this trip are going to be something that we'll have forever.
If you have questions or comments, we'd like to hear from you. Just log on to fineliving.com.